I'm Rolene Marks. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you as always, and actually every Monday to Thursday by Lay of the Land. And before we head off to the weekend and put our feet up for a well-deserved rest, let's take a look at those top stories making headlines. And we begin with the news that Israel's Knesset earlier today adopted the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. Now, the IHRA definition is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism and really lays out the parameters by which we judge or which we assume that something is anti-Semitic. Now, some people have criticized it because it makes very, very clear that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism and goes into great detail to explain why. It also discusses things like the 3Ds, demonization, delegitimization, and double standards being applied to the state of Israel. Now, while it is a non-legally binding document, it has been adopted by at least 30 countries and countless other institutions around the world in a commitment to fight anti-Semitism. And if that wasn't enough, it was also announced earlier today that as of 2025, Israel will take on the presidency of IHRA. This was voted in at the conference taking place in Stockholm, Sweden this week, and the vote was unanimous. Now, the presidency will be assumed by both Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well as Yad Vashem, which is Israel's Holocaust and Memorial Museum, which is right here in Jerusalem. And Israel taking the presidency in 2025 coincides with the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp. Earlier today, Knesset Speaker Miki Levy said that Israel's adopting of IHRA is a historic moment for the country and said that the Knesset is really the parliament of the Jewish people and it is our commitment to fight anti-Semitism. Israel also confirmed earlier today that we will be sending firefighting planes to assist Cypriot firefighters battling blazes in northern Cyprus. This is part of an agreement that has been signed by Cyprus, Greece and Israel to assist each other in times of natural disasters. And the ask was put forward by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Cyprus, asking Israel for our assistance. We also can't forget that in times where Israel has battled terrible blazes both in the Jerusalem area and in the Carmel region a few years ago, Cyprus was one of those countries coming quickly to Israel's assistance. This week we've been following the processes in the Knesset as we head down to yet another election. Yes, I know it's déjà vu all over again, but we do have a possible date that has been announced. It is a possibility that the 1st of November will be election day. This has not been confirmed yet. It is still a possibility. We're also waiting to hear whether or not Prime Minister Bennett, once he steps down next week, will continue or take a break from politics in the run-up to this election. It is a slightly longer election cycle, but we really, really hope we get it right this time. And our final story takes us to Turkey, and we've been covering in quite a lot of depth the warnings for Israelis to leave Turkey while there is still a very, very credible threat posed by Iranian Guard terrorists in that country. It was announced earlier today that Turkish officials, along with local police, had managed to arrest at least 10 Iranians as part of a cell plotting to either kidnap or assassinate Israeli tourists. Two of the intended victims was a former ambassador of Israel to Turkey and his wife. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Yair Lapid landed just moments ago in Ankara and will meet with his Turkish counterpart very soon. So those are our top stories as we head into the weekend, but don't forget that you can check us out on our website at www www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lottle Site. Like us, follow us, share our content. You know what to do. Our YouTube channel is at The Israel Brief. If you like us, please consider sharing our content and subscribing as well. And of course, we're on Twitter at LayOfTheLand5. Follow us there and see our daily updates. So I want to wish you, on behalf of all of us, to all of you, a wonderful, a peaceful and a restful weekend. Shabbat Shalom wherever you are. This is the Israel Brief. I'm Rolene Marks. Thank you for watching and join me again on Monday.